Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a couple more questions here. I wanted to ask about the ISS, Mr. Gerstenmaier. It's one of our nation's greatest technological international achievements. Currently, the U.S. and its partners are planning to operate it through 2024. According to the National Research Council's Pathways report from 2014, if NASA maintains a presence on the ISS past 2024 without significant increases to NASA's overall budget, it will lack the resources to fund the development of systems that will push human presence beyond low Earth orbit until late in the next decade. This would leave the Orion vehicle without a clearly defined mission, yet abandoning the ISS could mean ceding global leadership in low Earth orbit to other nations and our competitors. How do we solve this dilemma? If additional funding is the answer, where do you propose that we get this additional funding, Mr. Gerstenmaier?
I think our proposal is to do both, to continue to use the ISS because it's a critical test bed to test the technology that's going to be needed going forward. For example, the carbon dioxide scrubbing system that's going to be flown on the Orion capsule, it's actually been tested on board the International Space Station. So there's a synergy between space station and the exploration. I think a lot of times we see this as an either-or trade. I really see it as an and. We need to go look at the needs for station and the budget required for station. We can gain some efficiencies, potentially in ops and maintenance a little bit, reduce some of those costs, but I think ultimately we need to be in low Earth orbit. At the same time, we're moving out to deep space to test technologies. Space station is a good test bed to do that. We need to utilize station as long as it's viable from a technical standpoint, and it's a piece of exploration. It is truly the first step in exploration. We're going to have a couple crew members go almost a year in space. That's going to give us tremendous insight into the health mitigations that are required for crews when they go to Mars and other destinations. Station is paying real benefits today for exploration, that if you remove space station, you actually cripple space station. You slow down our goals to get to the moon. You slow down our activities to move to onto Mars. So we need to use station today in an effective manner. We need to figure out a way to fund both. It will not be easy for you or for us to find that funding. We'll figure out a way to do it.
Okay.
It's necessary for us in the future.
All right, thank you. Then another one to you as well. Will NASA develop spacesuits for surface operations and update NASA's aging extravehicular mobility units? EMUs were designed over 40 years ago. They were designed to fit astronauts and made up the astronaut corps at that time. Since then, the astronaut corps has diversified, requiring a broader range of sizes. If we are to extend ISS, what are your plans for EMUs?
Yeah, we're working on both. The answer basically is yes to both. We're working on a new spacesuit for the space station. The goal was to demonstrate, I think, in 24. And that suit, the life support system on the back part of the suit that provides oxygen and CO2 scrubbing for the crew members, also humidity control and temperature control, that's common between an on-orbit spacesuit and it's common to potentially a spacesuit used on the surface of the moon. So there's applications there, but our intent is to develop the suits necessary for both cases. And the Johnson Space Center in-house team is working on that spacesuit development today. They've actually been in NBL doing some activities with that suit.
All right, great, thank you. And last, the European Service Module is currently manifested through Exploration Mission 2. After that, should NASA plan on using a European Service Module, or should it seek other more capable alternatives that may facilitate a broader architecture? Mr. Gerstenmaier.
Again, I think there's real advantages to us working with our partners in space, and we can selectively choose where we put those partners in a critical path. We have put the European Space Agency in a critical path for the Orion service module. That's a propellant system that maneuvers Orion around in space. They've delivered on their promises. They were a little late with the first module. They're doing well on the second module, and they're actually starting to procure and acquire hardware for the third service module. So again, I think if they continue to deliver, they're a strong partner. They can work with us. They help achieve our goals in a more effective manner and build the international strength that makes these future activities possible.
Would anybody else like to add to that? Nope. Nobody wants to chomp on that one. Okay, thank you very much.